What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Know Before You Go. This time we're covering Vail Ski Resort in central Colorado. Now, when people think of Vail, they often think Vail the corporation, the one who sells us tickets, passes, overpriced drinks, and so on. Love them or hate them, they're not Vail the ski resort. I, for one, think they do a fine job and provide us all tons of opportunities to ski great terrain all over the globe. The town itself is situated in a valley that has Interstate 70 running right through the middle. So from the interstate, it's not the most appealing aesthetic, but trust me, once you're in the town, and in particular the village, you won't even notice. It's home to plenty of shops, restaurants, bars, and galleries to keep your non-skier or border friends happy while you enjoy the iconic resort. The architecture is Bavarian inspired, and it's all very well done in my opinion. It's definitely higher end compared to other mountain towns, rivaled or surpassed only by places like Aspen, Park City, or Telluride, Colorado. As for the mountain, Vail is in the top 5 of skiable terrain with about 5,300 acres. Those with more are Powder Mountain in Park City in Utah, Whistler Blackcomb in British Columbia, and Big Sky in Montana. And over 3,600 of those acres are in Vail's iconic or legendary, as they're known, back bowls, and also within Blue Sky Basin beyond the back bowls. How do you get there? It's right off I-70, so if you're coming in from Denver, cruise in about 2 hours from Denver, you'll be there maybe an hour and a half sometimes. Notoriously bad traffic on I-70. If you know about it, you know about it. But I'm just simply on the vail.com webpage under the mountain, under trail map, and it's got 3 distinct trail maps. Now, first, when you go to Vail for the first time, you get to just start skiing the mountain, and then all of a sudden you get this view, and you look and you see, oh, what's that over there? And there's the back bowls. And then you look beyond that and you go, what's that over there? And there's Blue Sky Basin. It is sprawling, very sprawling. If you've been to Whistler Blackcomb, now Whistler is a very vertical mountain, and so you can be at the very top and the bottom feels very, very far away. It's different when you're at places like Vail. Yes, there's vertical, but it's horizontally massive. So you feel like you're almost in the backcountry when you get all the way back to Blue Sky Basin. I wish I can tell you that it feels like the backcountry in terms of crowds, but that's not the case because, again, it is Vail. And the lines back in Blue Sky are ridiculous sometimes. But when you start skiing down Lover's Leap or really any of that stuff, you know why. It's worth the wait sometimes. So, again, off I-70. On the map here, again, you see Vail Village. There's Lion's Head. There is the main... Let's see if I can move this thing. There's the main village, and there's Golden Peak. All of this is accessed... Well, really, I should say Vail Village, the main center, and Golden Peak. There's a really nice size parking garage, which gives you access to both. A little more of a walk to Golden Peak, but sometimes worth it. On the Lion's Head side of things, there's a parking lot or parking garage that's separate for over here. It's about $25 to $30 for parking. Again, well worth it. The village is beautiful. There are homes and condos and resorts and all that fun stuff. Lots of shopping, lots of things to do, lots of places to drink and lots of places to eat. And of course, get coffee and see lots of funny dogs walking around. So if you're starting off from the center at Gondola 1, really just take this up. This goes right to the very top, mid-mountain or mid-Vail. And you can see it here, which gives you direct access to both Wildwood Express and Mountaintop Express. Now, if you're just starting off, go get your legs warmed up. It's a great place to do that. Mountaintop Express, and then running anything from Whistle Pig to Slifer Express, Cappuccino. If you want to run the greens, there's Swingsville. This is all pretty good. They're not the longest runs, but again, it's a good way to get your legs warmed up. I've had some really fun morning rides here where you just have a little bit of early powder and you kind of get that early, hooting and hollering going on where you know it's going to be a good day and you know that there's a lot to go when you get to the back bowls, if that's what you're doing. Wildwood Express, pretty similar. like any 2D or 3D environment pressed onto a 2D plane, you can't see everything going on here. So there's little ridges and drops, and just kind of keep that in mind when you look at this stuff. So that's, and there's lots of services right here that you can actually enjoy. Nothing really overly difficult about this. There's some moguls in here. I think there's moguls on here. This has some cliffs. This Zot one here. Powerline Glade's fun. I love Ramshorn. There's these little funny faces right here, right? You see that little smiley face? Hilarious, right? Little smiley face. What's that mean? Let's find out what a smiley face means. Where is the key on this thing? Kids Adventure Zone. I love when it says that. Well, keep in mind, everything is relative. We're talking about kids. We're talking about Vail kids. We're talking about, those who are on their pathway to becoming professional skiers or snowboarders. This, right off Ramshorn here, or Ramshorn, I sometimes call it for giggles. There's little glades run through here, and it's like a little toboggan run. Super, super fun, actually. You can run this thing over and over again. I love doing this, and it's for kids, apparently. But me as an adult, I enjoy this, as do all the people I ski with quite a bit. Let's see. If you ski down a little bit to Avanti's a really fun place to ski as well. What I like about it is it's blue on top, and then you can see it obviously gets a little steep here because all this turns to black. If you want to go stay blue the entire time, go to Columbine. That's fine. You can do that. You can easily get back to Wildwood Express, and then also dip off into Game Creek Express as well. There's all the, again, this Chaos Canyon right here where this is a little smiley face again. There's a really fun adventure zone in here. Again, it's for kids. I don't do that, but every time I go by it, I kind of wish I was a kid because I would love to go do that. It's kind of just, they've done a really nice thing with just the infrastructure here and some of the paths and trails through here. It's much more, I would call it infrastructure. It's not like you're going through just random woods, but rather it's very well planned out. So there's that. We'll go over to the west side of the mountain here. You can see lots of greens, lots of ways to get down, but of course you have your blacks stuck in there. Adventure Ridge, Practice Parkway, you can see some family stuff in there. Over towards Lion's Head, again, different part of the mountain altogether. You might never touch this. If you go from the mid Vail, you might never go over here. So again, that's what's great. Vail is really big and you can spread out across the entire mountain. I've stayed way over this way one time and took this lift up, but you could just run this, and I think they're not as busy, honestly. So Pride Express, Eagle Bond, and Born Free Express. And I say not as busy again. Everything's relative, but there are fun things to be had here. You can see the names here, Simba, Safari. So they got some themed names there. Lion's Pride, so obviously Lion's Head, Cheetah Gully. Clearly going with some themes there. Very nice, but good place to ride. Again, can't say much more about that. Going to the eastern side of the mountain. So earlier we went to the top of Mountain Top Express, where this is a great place where you get that nice big sign that says the legendary back bowls. I'll talk about that in a second. But Northwoods is super, super fun. You can dip down from here, do first step, this South Rim, and then North Star or Northwoods. And these are, again, if you have a powder day, it's really, really good to get your legs warmed up here. This thing skis really well. Cruise right down to Northwoods, take it up again, do another run, that's fine. You can see Prima Cornice. There's some cliffs and stuff in here, some double black. It's really steep, mogulled out. Riva Ridge, some Riva Glades. But yeah, that'll put you on the eastern side. If you're wanting to go just run greens all day, it's good to go Mountaintop Express, ski this catwalk. It does get a little flat here, so keep your speed when you come down, and then go all the way down to Sourdough Express, and you can run this thing all day long. These are not long runs, but if you're trying to get your ski legs, trying to learn, or of course, boarding, great place to go do that and test your skills. Whiskey Jack is super fun as well. So there's this blue. If you've got, if you have a friend group, maybe one is trying to just, again, practice. They might be running the greens all day. you and your other friends who want to run blacks and blues, Whiskey Jack is super fun. It's got a really good, it drops off at one point and you can catch some really nice air. And there's not one of those signs that says, no air or no, I don't know what it says. There's signs out there that say don't catch air, no jumping. Geez, it's much easier to say that. Anyways, that's a really, really fun one you can do. And so that's a great way to kind of entertain yourself with something a little more challenging and fun, a little faster while you're being a good friend and staying nearby. Again, because I said Vail is huge. Now, staying on the front side, going farther east, Highline. I'm a huge fan of Blue Ox. It's ungroomed. It gets some moguls in some spots, gets steeper in some areas, but you can really, if you want to hold some speed, carve, play around, this is a great run. You can do this over and over again. Obviously, it's skiers right or snowboarders right, so stay right, and you can see that there. But if you hit Highline, just know this thing has very, very deep moguls. So if you like that kind of stuff, by all means, sometimes I like the challenge of it, but it gets a little tiring because it's a long run. This takes you down to Highline Express Lift. Now, going back down the mountain a little bit. If you start off again from Rivabon or the Golden Peak here, there's a learning area over here, but you can take this thing up. There's a half pipe. There's slalom runs, and I never get off at this. There's a switch point right here, and some people get off. They're mostly, I think, training because they're competitive skiers or snowboarders, so they run this stuff over here. But this dips down, goes over this really nice aspen forest. You're going downhill, kicks back up, and then it drops you off. You can get right to Northwood there too. So if you don't want to go and wait in the gondola line, you can easily take the Golden Peak up, and then you can actually get to the same spot you would from the gondola. So that's the front side. A lot to explore there, but if you're trying to keep with your group and it's a varied group in terms of skills, you can find some fun stuff, and it's something for the entire group or entire family. That's great. But the reason many of us go to Vail is because of the back bowls. So just really quickly, Wildwood and then Patrol Headquarters, Buffalo's Henry's Hut, and then Two Elk Lodge. I'm just going to go back to this map here. Notice you've got right there. So again, these three lifts come together. 5, that one's for the back bowls. And then if you go over here, Two Elk Lodge, that's what you just saw. And then if we go even further west, you have the Wildwood there, and then Game Creek Express. You'll see those here. So again, quickest way to get to the back bowls is when you come up Northwood or Mountaintop, you get to this point here. And so there's a big sign here that says the legendary back bowls, and then you really can't get to other bowls. You have to go down and then back up. So just keep that in mind. If it's a low visibility day, it kind of gets disorienting. I've talked about this, the fact that I'm doing this. I'm a map guy. I love maps. I usually have a pretty good sense of direction. However, low visibility, you start losing it a little bit. So just be careful when you're out there. The Slot, Milt's Face, Campbell's Cow Face, these you can see they're all black. They get some moguls, but they hold powder really well. They're so wide open that you can just find fresh stashes over and over. It's wonderful. You can go right down, sun up, and start making your way towards these other bowls. A Teacup Bowl, Siberia Bowl, China Bowl, Sun Up Bowl, and then Sundown Bowl. So you can see the names there in blue. So if you run the Slot or Milt's Face, you can go all the way down and hit High Noon Express. There's some fun glades through here, and then this gets wide open where you can do some really fun carving. This is, in fact, right where I tore my pectoral tendon on a pole plant, and I fell. So there you go. At the top of Lift 3 or Lift 7, you can hit the Sundown Bowl. To be honest, I've never skied this. Never. Or seldom. It's just hard to get to, but every time I see it, I'm always just intrigued and want to go over there. So if you've been out there and you love that stuff, or you want to keep the secret, leave a comment, let people know. It's fun. Share the love. You can see there's glades all peppered throughout this entire thing. Again, this is a map. It's an illustration. It simply shows you an idea of where things are. But again, as you explore these things, it's wide open. You can do anything you want in the back bowls, except keep your tendon intact on certain days. So if you want to start making your way over to China Bowl or Mongolia, and then it's down the slot, up Sunup Express, and then you can run Jade Glade, Dragon's Teeth. There's some really fun cliffs up here. They're fun to drop off of. There's some variable stuff, and you just got to be careful. If the snow is not great, of course, always be careful. Unmarked obstacles. Great stuff either way. Run down to Teacup Express, and then this is where you get onto 37, which is Skyline, which goes up another mountain, which is Blue Sky, and we'll talk about that in a second. But again, over this way, you can run Orient Express all day. The first time I've ever done the back bowls, I was with my friend Jeff, and we ran. It was a very bad visibility day, hence my comment earlier. But we ran down this and then started running this and stayed in the trees. I mean, visibility, start getting in the trees. And these are pretty sparse, and they're very fun, super playful. Find different paths. This thing slopes down, so you're kind of running off camber the entire time. You're kind of going down this way. If you want to stay in these trees as long as you possibly can, you could just straight down into this little gully or valley and then kick it back, but that shortens your ride a lot. So staying in the trees, you kind of run off camber the entire time. I've actually ran into a friend there because down is both left and straight down. She was going left down. I was going down, down, if that makes sense. I was going this way. She was going that way. And it's hard to tell. I ran into her. Oh, well. But here, Orient, you can run this. It's a great, I actually love running Shangri-La and Poppy Fields. This is just a really, really fun area to ride. Staying here. So this little Silk Road piece, it's a catwalk. You don't really see what's going on. Actually, it does a big hairpin turn and comes back around to this T-bar, Mongolia T-bar. And oh, let me tell you, this is fun. First, you can drop off in a lot of places. You can see Rasputin's, Red Square, Gorky Park, all really fun stuff. In fact, you can kind of launch off the catwalk if you hold some speed. It's very, very, very tempting to go into Siberia Bowl, but it's also very tempting to continue on and go to the T-bar. T-bar doesn't open up until I believe 10:30, weather permitting. But wow, I've had some incredible days here. You can see how sparse the trees are. They're really well spread out. There's little bumps in here along the way. You think sometimes that you can actually launch off one of them, but there's one after it. So just be mindful that you all of a sudden might get your knees into your chest. Might have happened to me once. I don't know. But again, really fun. And then the trees get a little denser here and it gets steeper down here. This, again, I'd say lap this over and over and over again, but it's hard to lap this because you have to go down what's called Silk Road. It's a catwalk, up Orient, down this catwalk again, back up Mongolia, and then lap it again. So a lapping of Mongolia Bowl is not necessarily an easy thing to do. It takes effort, but believe me, when you have a good day and the snow is outstanding, you will take that extra little bit of trip just to do this. You can continue down Silk Road and run this thing. The problem is the catwalk back out is longer and longer. It's possible that you may lose speed altogether. If you're on a snowboard, good luck. I always am just impressed by those who can effectively and efficiently move about Vail on a snowboard, because again, it's huge and there are catwalks. You don't have the ability to skate, obviously. I have a friend, Paul, who does amazing at this. But I've seen other people who are just taking their board off a lot, and that looks miserable to me. Anyways, that is the legendary back bowls. You can simply see how wide open this is. And this is all north facing. Just so much varied terrain, so much fun stuff to do. Strongly recommend. It's wonderful. All right, so you got Skyline and Pete's Express, and another one here. It's 37, 38, and 39. Let's go to Blue Sky Basin. So again, Teacup Express, 37, Skyline, Outstanding. Really, really fun. Encore, the divide, glades, little drops, little cliffs, playful, fun stuff. It'll pump your legs like no other. Lover's Leap, you can't tell there. There's a nice big cornice right here. This is very, very, that's gentle looking. It's a good cornice. It's a really fun one. It's not very long, but when you got a lot of snow, it's very forgiving. So if you ever want to launch off a cornice, it's a good place to do it. So again, run that's wonderful. In the weeds, I don't know how to say that, Earl's Express and Champagne Glade, just incredible, honestly. Champagne Glade is so much fun. Right under Earl's Express 38. If you just keep lapping this on a good day with good snow, you will be maybe the happiest person in the world. It's awesome, honestly. So there's that. I've never done this over here, but it's there if you like it. Okay, I've said this before. If you've watched my Breckenridge video, these maps simply do not do justice. They are 2D expressions of a 3D world. There is a little gully through here. This thing's really fun. It's just, you can hop through it, jump through it. It just gets carved out, but it's kind of in a very fun way. I can't even tell where this is, but there's a really dense set of trees through here that have a toboggan run through them. And I say toboggan run, I mean like it looks like one, but of course you're skiing it or snowboarding it. My friend Josh and I went through there once, and it was just like we were laughing the entire time. 3 feet off each other. If one of us fell, it was going to be treacherous, but it's one of those times where you just have a incredible time laughing and going through really dense trees. This steep and deep, or is it scree field? There's actually cliffs here. Can't see them, but you drop off and you can actually find your way through the cliffs. It's actually fun. It's challenging, but very doable. This all takes you back down to Cloud 9, and there's the doghouse, which is really great. You can actually get a hot dog or other food or beverages. Great place to sit and eat. And then now you have 39, which is Pete's. And again, super fun, right? All of these things, you can see the density of trees. One thing about Colorado, the Rockies, is they're very, very dense trees. If you go to the West Coast, the trees are much more spread apart. They're bigger. I don't know the actual genus of coniferous tree, but here they are much denser. So when you get the good spacing like this, it makes for really, really good riding. So again, Pete's is outstanding for the same thing. The doghouse down there, and then this little catwalk takes you back to 37 to Teacup, and you can go back up, of course. Note, you cannot, from 39 for the bottom, or Cloud 9, you cannot get back to Orient. This is downhill. So keep that in mind. So when you want to get back out, you have to go to 36 to get out of Blue Sky Basin. One thing I didn't note or say is Bell's Camp. There's actually a nice little, you can see there's an aid station. There's a warming hut with water, I believe. And then there's a grill in the back. And it's first come, first serve, but you can literally carry a bunch of steaks in your backpack. I don't recommend that. Maybe it's just some sausages pre-made, Trader Joe's or something. And then just grill out back there. Bring your food, but if you caravan and just spread some food across your party, it's a great place to sit because, again, it feels extremely remote. You're way, way back. Now, I talked about this earlier, but when you're sitting all the way back here, this thing feels light years away. It feels very far away. So it's a really just kind of a neat way to be within the Rockies at a massive ski resort. And it kind of gives that feeling. I didn't touch on this though. This is Wildwood. It's Game Creek Express. You can see there some blues, some greens. The way it's actually right here. So it's not like a back bowl, but it's over this ridge from one of the back bowls. Again, I've ridden it a couple times. Don't really go back to it too much just because, again, jump to Blue Sky or stay in the back bowl somewhere. But probably a lot of good stuff. Again, I'm not an expert at Vail. I've been there enough to know how to have a good time there, and I've explored the mountain enough. Many of you may have explored this way more than I have, and I'm missing something. If you have good tips on how to make a great day out of Vail for someone who maybe is a first-time Vail skier, or maybe someone who really hasn't been there much, then by all means, please leave that. It's been helpful, I think, for the people who have watched the other videos. And thank you for watching, and enjoy your time at Vail.